visiting with Ed Noddle. The fact that this is such a series that's going to be played in close proximity, North Shore and Brockton seem separated by about 50 miles. Does that add to the excitement for you? I know it does for the fans.
I guarantee it adds it for me. The one thing I didn't want to do is go back to Quebec. If you've never stayed at the Hotel du Nord, you will not understand that. But Quebec, by the way, I talk about it, is one of those beautiful cities I've ever been in. We don't just happen to stay in that part of the city. Also, the fans are awesome. They come out. It's an old park, but it's kept very nice. And I enjoy that part of it, but I sure don't enjoy where we stay. I think more of our guys, including me, were worried about if we had to go to the Hotel du Nord than who were playing in the finals.
I'm really glad I found that clip of Ed telling Josh just how much he and the players detested that hotel in Quebec, because I didn't want viewers accusing me of exaggerating when I talked about it in previous episodes. It was bad. But no more Hotel du Nord. Instead, the Brockton Rox would be facing their crosstown rivals, the North Shore Spirit, in the championship series. Now, the Rox had beaten New Jersey in the playoffs, and most people considered the Jackals to have the best lineup in the league. The Spirit were considered by most to have the best pitching rotation in the Northeast League. But Ed had told me almost a month prior that he felt North Shore's manager John Kennedy might just be pushing his starters too hard in terms of complete games and innings pitched. Noddle might have been onto something. In North Shore's playoff sweep of Quebec, they never went to their bullpen once. Not once. Could something like tired arms make a difference in this series? Because these two teams were about as evenly matched as you could get.
We are in the Northeast League Championship. If you were to order up an ideal championship series, what are some of the things that you would want? How about an even matchup, for one thing? Can't get much more even than this. The Rox, 50 wins, 39 losses overall. The Spirit, 51 wins, 39 losses. The Rox had a .397 slugging percentage. The Spirit had a .397 slugging percentage. As far as on-base percentage, the Rox, .331 during the year. The Spirit, .330. The Rox hit 55 homers. The Spirit hit 57 homers. Also, you'd probably want a heated rivalry. Can't get much more heated than this. 12 games, the Rox took 6. The Spirit took 6. 7 of their games were decided by 2 runs or less. There were 2 extra inning ball games. 3 of the games ended with a base hit. There was 1 mound charging incident. There were several ejections. So yes, it was heated. Ideally, you would have a crosstown rivalry, and we have just that. Lynn and Brockton, located just 35 miles apart. And you would want star power, of course. You have that too. John Kelly, 13 wins, 2 losses. He pitched 5 shutouts. You have the league's best relief pitcher, Connor Brooks of the Brockton Rox, who had 21 saves, nobody even close. You have the Rookie of the Year, Craig Lewis of the Rox, the league's leading extra base hitter, Darren Blakely, and you have 2 former big league catchers in Frank Charles of the Spirit and Mel Rosario of the Brockton Rox. This should be pure excitement. An ideal championship series? Don't know if it's ideal, but it is about as close as you could possibly get. And the fans filing in here to Fraser Field. Many of the fans here are from Brockton. I know there was a busload of about 50 who made their way here. Many people drove up themselves. I would expect a couple hundred Brockton fans in the stands tonight. Marcasano walked the leadoff hitter, but is coming back to get Schmitz to ground out, advancing the runner and striking out Sepulveda. 1 ball, no strikes the count to Frank Charles. Charles was a huge addition to this ball club. Started the year with Pawtucket. Was released from that ball club, and the North Shore Spirit figured Pawtucket's loss was their game. He came over, batted .300 for this club, hit 7 homers, drove in 46 runs, and really did an outstanding job of handling the pitching staff. Rosario sets up on the outside corner. The 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball, grounded to the left side. Pass Bustos into left field. Grounding third, coming home is Agramonte. He will score, and the Spirit have taken a 1-0 lead on the single by Frank Charles. Francisco Matos to lead things off for the Rox, a .338 hitter on the season. John Kelly has not lost a ball game since July 31st. He lost to Allentown. A lot of innings pitched for Kelly this season. A lot of innings pitched for all of the starters for the North Shore Spirit. Outfield playing straight away against Matos. Here's the payoff pitch on the way. Line drive, right center field, well hit by Matos, going to drop in for extra bases, all the way to the wall, chased down by Sepulveda. Matos will put on the brakes and settles for a leadoff double, a stand-up double for Francisco Matos. Kelly took a while to get the signs from Charles, and Torres asked for time, which was granted by the home plate umpire Francis. Now everybody ready to go to work. Matos at second with 2 outs now after that leadoff double and the subsequent 2 strikeouts. A one-hopper to second base, fielded cleanly, now bobbled by Agramonte. He throws it away into the Rox dugout. That will allow Matos to score, and the Rox have tied the ball game at 1-1. Mel Rosario will lead things off in the 4th against John Kelly. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Swung on sharply down the first base line and into right field. Base hit for Mel Rosario. Rounding first, headed for second. Sepulveda up with the ball. The throw to second base is not in time. Rosario arrives standing with a leadoff double. And there are now 2 outs as Abner Arroyo comes to the plate. Arroyo had a very nice series against New Jersey. 5 hits in 15 at-bats with 3 doubles and a home run. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Swung on and lined down the right field line. Base hit for Abner Arroyo. Rosario will score. Arroyo hustling to second base, and he will arrive standing. The Rox have taken a 2-1 lead on the double by Abner Arroyo. Talked to Arroyo before the start of this ball game and asked him about his postseason experience. And he says this is nothing new for him. He has won a championship before in 2000. Won the Pioneer League championship with Idaho Falls. He's played in a couple of other postseasons. So he says nervous? No. Just having fun as usual. 1-1 pitch, swung on flare into left center field, base hit for Talbert. Rounding third, coming home is Arroyo. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is cut off of Kelly's glove, behind home plate, and hustling to second base is Talbert. The Rox now lead 3-1 on a base hit by Talbert, his 3rd of the ball game. Craig Lewis to lead things off against John Kelly. Ground ball up the middle, past a diving Agramonte into center field. So for the 4th time in this ball game, the Rox have their leadoff man aboard with a base hit. Matos such a good bat handler that I would be surprised if Ed Noddle does not put something on here. Either a hit and run or a stolen base attempt. Payoff pitch on the way with the runner going again. Ground ball, left field, base hit for Matos. Lewis will hustle to third base. The hit and run executed to perfection. Yuri Sanchez, the shortstop, was breaking towards second base to cover the bag, and Matos was able to ground it into the space vacated by Sanchez. The Rox have 9 hits against John Kelly, and John Kennedy, the manager of the Spirit, is headed out to the mound. And that is going to be it for John Kelly. Go figure. Well, the Rox have done their job well offensively in this ball game. They have scored 3 runs on 9 hits. They've got runners on the corners here in the 5th inning with no outs, and they have sent John Kelly to the showers. On in relief is Nate Buechler. Saul Bustos will be the first guy that he faces. The 0-1 pitch with Matos running, ground ball, left side, shortstop Sanchez up with it. Only play is to first. He throws out Bustos, but Lewis scores, and the Rox stretch out their lead to 4-1. Frank Charles at the plate now. He is 2 for 2. A couple of singles. Has half of the Spirit's hits. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed by Charles. Marcasano fans Frank Charles for out number 2. That is 7 strikeouts now for Mike Marcasano.
Marcasano pitched another beauty. 6 innings, allowing just 4 hits and 1 walk, fanning 7, and turning it over to the bullpen with a 4-1 lead. Up in the broadcast booth, I was straining to concentrate. Fraser Field wasn't the worst place from which to broadcast, but it could definitely be a challenge. So unlike Campanelli Stadium, which had a very professional setup for the broadcasters, separate booths with great views, or even Yogi Berra Stadium, which was just a large press box, but at least had a small partition to separate the broadcasters, Fraser Field had us set up in a cozy little room with heavy traffic, a lot of talking, and I was just one seat away from the two hometown announcers who I could hear describing the same action that I was trying to describe. Tough. Between innings, we had a 90-second commercial break, some of which I would spend talking to Josh back in the studio, sometime checking decisions made by the official scorer, updating my scorebook, or just anticipating what information I might need to use during the upcoming inning. So when we came out of the break to start the 7th inning in this game, I was focused. And I noticed this chant from the crowd down near the visitors' dugout. And I looked down to see a large group of Rox fans turned around, looking at me up in the booth and waving.
Lots of fans here from Brockton, waving up into the broadcast booth. Hi, guys. Darren Blakely leading things off for the Rox. And the first pitch from Nate Buechler misses outside, 1-0 the count. I thought they were chanting Blakely, and they're over there chanting Larry, trying to get my attention. Nice group.
Along with sharing the booth with the legendary Ernie Harwell, that had to be one of the highlights of my entire broadcasting career, and I will admit, I did the remainder of the game misty-eyed with a lump in my throat.
Stutz came on in relief of Marcusano to start the 7th inning. He has retired 5 of the 6 he has faced, giving up 1 walk. Here's the 0-2 pitch now to the right-hander Sepulveda. Swung on, hit pretty well to center field. Blakely's got to get back in a hurry. Back to the warning track, reaches up and makes the grab for out number 3. Nice play by Darren Blakely in center, and Tony Stutz retires the Spirit in order. Back in 1984, the Beach Boys played right here at Fraser Field. But tonight, here in Lynn, it is the Rox feeling the good vibrations. Brockton leading 4-1. Connor Brooks has been brought on to try to seal the deal. It will be Brian Schmidt coming up to bat for Stotari. 1 strike away. The Rox fans here at Fraser Field are on their feet behind the first base dugout, waving the Rox rally rags, trying to urge on their ball club. Schmidt right now representing the potential tying run in this ball game. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Brooks rocks and fires that pitch in there for a called strike. That is the ball game. The Rox win it 4-1. The Rox have won the first game of this championship series. A huge win for the Rox.
The Rox were a confident, happy group boarding the bus after the game. Ed Noddle was grinning, showing off his teeth, which had popped out of his mouth on the field during the game. He caught them before they hit the ground. Ed told me that he had warned the umpires that if they argued with him, they'd best watch out for flying teeth. Be sure to click the subscribe button to follow my wild and wacky journey with the Brockton Rox, because more episodes are on the way. Thanks for watching.